Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this morning. Because of our time, what we'll be doing is to walk us through what we want to achieve here today. And apart from that, I think we have some background noise. I can switch it off for people online. Okay, so connected with the people online. So thank you so much for joining. For those of us that are present here, for our people that join online, thanks so much for joining. What I will be doing now is to walk us through what we'll be achieving here today. And yeah, we need to know what are we here for. So that's what I'll be doing. So I'm Rashid. I want us to know clearly the difference between a conference, a meetup, and when they say, oh, come for a workshop, what do they mean? So when you hear a conference, it's those terms are different. They are not the same thing. So we should have it at the back of our mind. Anytime I'm giving a keynote at a conference, I will say, oh, conference is where you come and network and see things in a broader view. But then when it comes down to meetup, you are coming to a meetup to learn key concepts, to learn how people are using certain tools to solve a particular problem. So we call this a meetup because we are here to talk about the launch week of Supabase. Supabase, I will still talk more about Supabase, but because of my time, we are here already. So I will talk more about what Supabase can do for you and what you can achieve with Supabase. And apart from that, we have our speakers. I'll shout out to them. They will be taking us through the concept of agentic, and how you can integrate Supabase with that buzzword that you've been hearing. So Mujib will be taking us through that this morning. And as well, we'll move at some point, we'll have Abraham to talk about how you can use GitHub Copilot to build any tools you want to build. So you can combine the power of AI. GitHub Copilot is an AI tool that you can use to build anything. Okay, so you can combine the power of AI and Supabase and build stuff. So that's the whole summary of what we are here to achieve. You'll be able to learn how you can use AI to build anything, how you can use Supabase to maintain your backend service. So that's basically what we are here to talk about. But before we dive deep into everything that we want to talk about, I want to walk us through what open source is all about, what AI is all about, and what we mean when we say Supabase. So I don't want to assume that, oh, everybody here knows or have the idea of what open source is all about, or everybody here have the idea of what AI is all about. We've been hearing AI, and I've given certain talk where people come to ask me that, oh, what's the meaning of open source? Well, when they say open source, what do they mean? So I will take a couple of minutes to walk us through that and see how we can benefit from that. I need to be checking people online so that in case they have any issue. Okay, so this is basically me. I am Rashid Mundasiru. People online may not be able to see the link, but then even people here too. Okay, so I'm a community organizer and I do DevOps. So I love open source. And if you want to see me on GitHub or you want to see my profile on GitHub, you can just find Tavrash on GitHub, that name that you can see, or that couple of words or letters you can see on the screen. So let's talk more about what open source is all about. So open source is basically software whose code is available for everybody to access. So when we talk of open source, any tool that is available out there for everybody to access, ranging from accessing it to build stuff, to edit it and modify it to suit your own personal use. And then there are rules guiding you using open source tool or customizing it or commercializing it. So that's what we call licensing. Licensing is the rules or law binding you on how you can use certain open source projects and how you can commercialize it, turn it to your own. Okay, so we'll see some example of those open source, but the basic summary or what we can call an open source is that open system or software that is available out there, but then you still have access to the code base in which that software is running on. So that's what we refer to as an open source software. Okay, so some of the benefits that you get out of using open source, it is cost effective. Okay, so if you want to use, for instance, Microsoft Office, you have to pay to use Microsoft Office Premium. Okay, so there are open source tools there that you can leverage on without paying. You'll be able to access them, use every features that they possess, and then you save a lot of money from using them. And there are tools out there that you can leverage on that if you can provide a server by yourself, you'll be able to run that particular system without paying anybody because you have access to the code. And then you can have access to customize that particular software. Say that software is not doing what you want it to do in your own time, and you know how to write code, you can go ahead and do the editing or whatever thing you want to do to it. Okay, so we have transparency. Everybody see the code base, you see how it's running, and then you know what go well and what can go wrong at the end of the day. It is flexible for everybody and it is community powered. So when we talk of open source, everybody have access to it. Everybody talk about it. For instance, we are talking about Supabase here. It's because it's open source, and then everybody is talking about it globally. So these are some of the popularly known open source software. The first one that we can see there is the Supabase. We have Grafana, we have Upright, TensorFlow, Linux, N8N, and many more like that. So these tools are out there. You have access to their code base. You can do whatever thing you want to do. You can self-host them, and then if you like, you can be selling them as well. So let's talk a bit about Supabase. Okay, when we say Supabase, what is Supabase? So Supabase is an open source software. They call themselves Firebase Alternative. Firebase is that tool provided to you by Google to be able to do storage, a lot of things, real-time storage and all of that. So they are coming with the open source version of that, and they are providing us with the tools that we need to do that by controlling our own code base by ourselves. So authentication, real-time databases, API, and many more. are the services they provided. At some point, I will still come back to tell us some of the announcements they've made over the week, and we'll see how we can leverage on that as well. So some of the features that they provide for us to use is instant API to generate Postgres SQL. So for people that are doing backend or people that are into database management, they know the service, Postgres services that they can leverage on. So as well, if you are if you are building a backend system, you have access to authentication, to give access to your system for your customer to use easily. They have real-time subscription. They have edge functions. Some of these are just announced this week, so we'll see how that work out, and then how they want to solve problem with those two. Then we have the clients libraries. They have UI library that they just launched that you can leverage on building your system. So when you want to get started with Supabase, it's very simple. Just go to supabase.com and then you create an account. You set up a new project. So I think you have access to set up 2 free projects if you don't have, if you don't want to pay. You set up 2 free projects and then you can use it for anything that you want to do. They will show us some example on how to use those projects, how we can use that to build anything that we want to build. There are a lot of things on the dashboard that you can leverage on. Checking out your dashboard after you log in, you'll be able to see many more services that you can leverage on. You can create tables, configure authentication, start building your application using the provided APIs by Postgres. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm coming back to mention some of the announcements they made over the week to take us through how they are solving problem with that. So because of our time, we have to stop here and go to our next speaker. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I have 1 minute to take that. No question, right? Okay, cool. So we'll be going for our next speaker, and that is somebody's drop comment in the chat. Okay. So we'll be going to our next speaker, and that is Abraham. We'll be taking us through how we can use GitHub Copilot to build a system using Supabase or integrating Supabase into our system. And yeah, that's what it will be taking us through. So let me mute my mic first.
Okay, yeah. Good morning. Okay, so my name is I am Abraham Folorunsho, and
Sorry, yes, this one.
yes, I will check. Because I'll see it.
Other.
Okay, yeah. So it's so good to be here today in front of everyone. So today I'll just be taking us through building with Supabase and compilers for faster development. In this paced world that we are in, there are a lot of things, and in fact, in like some weeks ago, we started hearing a lot of things about vibe coding and the likes. And Copilot is also an AI in which you can also make use of to make our development faster. So a bit about me. My name is Abraham Folorunsho. I'm a student of this school currently in my penultimate year. That's 400 level. I'm a software engineer, backend heavy. Um, that's right. Spoke a lot about this. So Supabase is an open source alternative to Firebase. I believe most of us would have been familiar with Firebase before, but I think Supabase is more okay than Firebase in terms of you have access to it. You know, Firebase is being maintained by Google, and okay, if they say this project you are stopping it today, if your project is based on Firebase, then you are done for, right? So Supabase is an open source alternative to Firebase, and also the Progress database. It has Progress database with real-time capabilities, authentication with multiple methods, and also file storage. We'll be going through all of this in real time very soon. Okay, it's yes, I mentioned that it's built on Progress, and it's a very scalable relational database, no SQL and likes. You can manage your database from the Supabase interface. So Supabase is a backend as a service where you can just go there and configure the whole things without the need to write much code. So you can create tables, relationship, etc. You can write your SQL queries right inside the Supabase interface. You can enable and disable extensions. There's real-time engine on top of authentication. You can link it with email, password. You can get magic link. You can do OAuth like Google, GitHub, Facebook, and lot of that. We'll also be checking that in real time. So how it works actually. So when a user signs up, Supabase creates a new user in the auth user table. So it's returned a new JWT token, which contains the user UID. Every request to your database also sends the JWT. So that's what you use to authenticate you and knows the specific user that is making a request at any point at a time. So yes, you can also do restrict access to rows and the likes. Okay, so let's do it. I will share. Let's go to. So if you go to superbase.com, so getting started actually, if you are with a system, you can follow along, and if you are not with a system, you can just like take note of things and try it out later. So we check. This is Supabase landing page. You can see lot of things. You also have a free pricing model. So you can use it for free with active users, 500 database size, 5 GB bandwidth, and the likes. You see, this is I think this is enough any small project you are doing. So let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so yeah, we are in the dashboard now. So if you are just getting there, actually, you have to create a new organization. But then I already did all of those before. So we just create a new project. Yeah. Okay, zoom in. Is it okay? Okay. Okay, let me just pin this to my notes. Yeah. So the project name, you can name it Supabase, Supabase event. So to get a password, it's there's something where you can generate a strong password. But when you generate this, you have to copy and keep it somewhere safe. Say, you can leave the region. So create the new project. Okay, it's done actually. So this is the project overview. This you can check, can explore products like storage, authentication. I should zoom in. Oh, oh, yes, can connect to this. You can get your project API here, the URL and also the yes. So it will generate that very soon. But then you can just go ahead to check some things on the yeah. So here we have table editor. So here in this table editor, we can create a table. We can create a table and assign it to whatever, just like SQL. Okay, sorry, this is not clicking. Yes, you can name your table, the description of your table. You can give it a type. If it's an ID, you can give it UUID. If it's date and time, you can give it all those stuffs actually. The SQL editor. So here is the main where we'll be doing our main thing, because we'll be using Copilot to make our development faster. So if we want to create, as I showed us earlier, we can create our table right from the table editor, where we can name the table, the row or the column or anything we want to name. We can do it from the table editor. But then we can also you can do all that through SQL editor, where you can use your database queries. So this is our database. Yeah, there's nothing there actually. Can check the authentication. You see, we have it. Yeah, so we have policies. We can sign up and sign in. Yes, third party API. This is where I mentioned we can get other authentication, your session. Those are the user sessions. Rate limiting, you can limit the rate at which you send things, email, multi-factor, and the likes. Yeah. So one thing about Supabase is that after creating your table, it automatically gives you an API which you can use to access everything you've created already. Yes, you have your we are using JavaScript actually, but here it's not showing. Okay, let's just go ahead and build something. I think all this will be explained while we are building. So we'll be building a simple event page. I already did the front end code, so we will just have to do the back end with our Supabase. Okay. Yeah, so here we can get our API. So in our code, we can create a Supabase. I'm using a TypeScript. So you can create Supabase client dot TypeScript, and then we have our, we create, actually, okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, by this side, I have my Copilot. So I'll be using my Copilot inside my VS Code, actually. So yeah, we can import create client from Supabase. We have to install Supabase, actually. Then we get our API from here. We have the URL here. We copy it, and we also have the public key here as well. So inside the environment.env, you have the Vite Supabase URL. You just have to, I will replace that with this new one I copied here. So we have it here, and this as well. Yeah, see. Yeah, so that's what we are using inside our system. I feel it to be. I feel it to be congested. Sorry. Sorry.
Is it better? But the code side is better.
Can
Oh, we increase it to 20. Sorry, our time is going anyhow. Yeah. Something, let's manage it like that. I think it's fair now.
Okay, yeah, so once we have that, as I earlier said, we can go ahead. After we've created our Vite, we've put our project URL and the unknown key inside the .env, and we import that with import meta.env Vite Supabase URL that we put inside our .env file. So yeah, this is the command we'll be using. You can actually go ahead to do it manually and creating the rows and columns right in the Supabase table editor. Here we can create our table and do all those things from here. But then we'll be using queries to make everything faster. So I will also be explaining what everything that's inside this thing before we actually execute it. So here we have create table. Since we are creating an event page, we have to create different tables. We have the user, the event, and the event registration. So yeah, I hope you can see this. Okay, yeah, so we create this our SQL query, then we create table public user. We have the ID with the data type URID to make it yeah, we have the user name, which is text, and we have the email, which is also text, and the created art, which we use time stamp, yeah. So we also have the public the event row and the event table, sorry. You have the ID, you have the title, you have the date, you have the time, you have the location, you have the host ID, the whoever creates the event, We also have the created art and also the image URL. So this is the third table we have, which is the event registration. We have the ID, we have the event ID, the event that is created, that for whoever is registering, the created art and the unique event is ID. So this is row level security. So this row level security actually is to like give access to some certain things that people can access through our API without without a row level security. Everyone can have access to our API where they can request, they can send, they can get, they can post whatever they like. But when we set our row level security, we can make it to whatever things we want. So well, we can also create policies. So here we have for the public, for the user, we have we enable row level security for the event as well, and for the event registration, the whole thing is the same thing. Then we create our policy here. So we allow public read access to profiles. Everyone can read the profile, um, allow user to update their own profile, allow user to insert their own profile, allow public read access. Luma page that we use for the registration event, just how it is. We can allow if you are sending a post request, you have to input the user ID, their authorization and the likes of that. So only authorized users can create events. Hosts can update their event registration. So all this we can do it manually, but we are creating it with Copilot, which makes it faster. And just by this one I'm moving on, which is run, you can click it and it creates, yes, you see success, no rows returned. So if you just go to our table editor, all those things would have been there. Okay, this is our event registration. We have the ID, we have the event ID, and the whole thing. We have the event as well. Yes, we have the title, we have the user. So and we also have the user as well. So let's just run our React code npm run there. Yeah, so we have no event here actually. You can sign up, create an account. So I'll be doing username. Um, oh, so let me check my just information email. Okay. Um, for one. confirmation email. Yes, so you can just confirm your mail from here. Yes, so it's logged in. You can create an event. Okay. Key is, um, um, is- okay, let's just create it manually from this thing is slow. I don't know. Some oh my god. Okay, so let me just um, um, okay, here we have our user the users to our user table. So it stores our user, they have an ID, their username, their email, as well as the timestamp. So we have events as well. So if you refresh our, yes, we should have some events created. Can also go ahead to create one more event. Just do that to, insert row. So let's say to mixture of events. Okay, we have it created. Yes, so a new thing can insert into our roles right on the Supabase interface, and we can also do that through our SQL query. So you see what Copilot generated for us here. Just have to input the user ID here, the event host, the email, and yes. So basically, the whole thing you have to do from the table, you can do it from the SQL query. You can check out the event page. Yeah, so the countdown is there already. And just check a new one. So we have the countdown. It's already 10 a.m. and yeah. So basically, I hope we get what I have explained. You can do it via the Supabase interface, and you can also do it via the SQL query inside the Supabase as well. So to if you want to do it manually from the table, you can do it here. You can create a new table, and if you want to use the SQL editor, you do it from here as well. Okay, so my time is up. Do we have any? Okay.
At the introductory part, you showed a place that showed these dollars currency price. Is it are the money for the user, or they are going to pay before they use it, or they are going to get paid?
Actually show the pricing model. Let me see supabase.com slash pricing. Yeah, so this is it, right? Okay. Yeah, so this is it. We have the free, this is like a free tier where you can, and these are the things you can do under the free tier. If you upgrade it to pro, you have all these capabilities as well, and hope I'm clear.
Okay, so good afternoon. I don't know if I'm supposed to ask this, but like the fact is, you actually shown us how to use the Supabase and how you can use host event. But like, can it be deployed in other functions? Example, don't have a function like let's say now you're working on a hardware project that involves you to have a database of the data you collected. Use this to maybe store the database.
Okay.
Like you want to integrate the database now into an hardware project. So I know that there's some project that we used Firebase for. But since this is an alternative for Supabase, can it be used for that also?
Cancel this for that. Yeah, that's all. Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry. Oh my god. Wait, let me continue using the system. This one is not coming up. So now, oh my god. Moving on. Thank you so much, Abraham, for the presentation. And I hope at least we were able to follow along to a certain extent. If you are not a backend developer, some of those things may not make a lot of sense to you because you'll be like, what is table? What is row? What is column? What are those keywords he was using when he was doing his presentation? But then as time goes on, you'll be able to catch up, learning things together with uh, other people. Because if you're a front end developer or whatever thing you are doing, definitely the storage layer of software development is very important, where you have to make what you are building persistent. You need to provide service like storage, stuff that can be done. Okay, so thank you so much for that, and everybody that participated, thanks so much for joining. For our participant online, thanks so much for engaging as well. Moving on, we'll be having our next speaker. We'll be taking us through the concept of agents, agentic framework, If you don't know what an agent is, okay, we'll come and explain it to us, and I believe we'll be able to get it. Okay, so just this week, Supabase launched. I think they made that announcement yesterday about the launch of MCP server. So when you talk about agents, you talk about MCP and all of those stuff. So when you are trying to build an agent to build another agent, like agent building agent or agent monitoring agent, something like that. So we'll get to learn more about that. So let's pay attention and let's engage with that as well. So we'll be calling on our next speaker. That is Mujib. I cannot find. Okay, maybe you should find my. Yeah, we're actually trying to connect our next speaker. So for people online, let's just be patient. So will be joining us now. Yeah, he's here already. Yeah, welcome. Welcome, you. Just the mic. Huh? Just the mic. Yeah, I think it's working now.
So, I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, can you hear me? Sorry. I'm going to be talking about analytical flow plus Supabase. My name is sorry. My name is Mujib Moidin. I'm a software writer, five coder, and in case we have AGI next year, probably learning carpenter. Also, So I do public speaking, talk about different technology from photo, um, anything, blockchain and all. So, but before I move on, I believe like um, by now, all of us here currently should have used one or two AI products. Am I right? Can we mention like the one you have used before? ChatGPT, Copilot. Huh? Sorry, I can't tell you. DeepSeek. Okay, Cloud AI. What again? Perplexity. It seems like most of us here are kind of like into how should I put it? More of like research and other things because yeah, let me put it that way. So every technology, right? I mean, every single technology comes with their new thing, right? For those that are doing blockchain, you'll be hearing some sort of like word that you even ask yourself like, what are they even talking about? You're hearing something like L2, L1, CK, seal proof, right, and some other thing. But to people that are kind of like not in their fields, it's kind of what they are trying to like say. The same way we have for artificial intelligence. So basically, as I said earlier, I'll be talking about agents, agentic workflow, and Supabase. So what's an agent in the layman? Let me say layman terms, right? And from the computer science field, they'll say agent is just a system, right? But this particular definition is more of like from LLM field, right? It's just a system that makes use of what LLM models. And when you are talking about LLM models, we are talking of OpenAI, Cloud, which is from Anthropic, and you have like DeepSeek and Gemini. So the works is just basically to what plan a task, right? Retrieve the tools. And when you're talking about retrieve tools, that has to do with implementing different tools together, then interact with API. I believe we have more developers here than designers. How many developers do we have here? No developers. Okay, just one person. One person. What are five coders? They are not here. Things are good. So the agent can help you interact with API. They can help you what automate workflow, right? Then they can also help you write code. Then don't forget, agent here, we are just referring to just a single agent that can do one thing at a time. But what of, let's say you want to do multiple things at a time? That is where we have agentic workflow. So when we're talking about agentic workflow, that's more of combining multiple agents together autonomously to achieve a goals, right? So you have multiple agents. There's an agent that can write, right? Then you have one that can access an API. So combining the two together, that one make an API call, collect the response, then what? Uh, Give it to the agent that can interact with a database and what? Write into your database and all. So the characteristic is just basically like you have one agent that can plan, right? And this is exactly what we have today with most of our generative AI, like Copilot. In Copilot, currently we have agents in Copilot that can help you like just tell the Copilot what you want to do, then it's going to write the plan for you. collect the goals based on the prompt you give to the copilot. Then we have something called memory iteration, tools, and autonomy, right? The whole concept of autonomy is just like it does every single thing from planning, writing the code, testing, and execute without human interaction. You just sit. That's the whole concept of what? Fight coder. Just sit and the agents do everything for you from the beginning to the end. So now, what does agents solve for us, right? The LLM we have, basically, when you give it a prompt, it gives you what? A response. One of the things LLM lacks is what? It's just it's some of these things, right? It lacks memory. Meaning that if you give LLM a prompt, it gives you answer, then you prompt it again, right? It doesn't remember your previous conversation. And people will ask, like, what about ChatGPT? ChatGPT is an application built on top of what? LLM, which is what almost all the models that OpenAI produce, right? So ChatGPT is just like what? An abstraction because you don't see how they do the implementation for you. So with the and every implementation they do on ChatGPT includes all of this, right? So you just give it a prompt and you keep giving it question and give it what? A follow up. So that's just basically what the agentic does. And when you look at, I think this, we have some example, right? Of recent, like some about a month ago, OpenAI released an agent called Operator. How many of us have heard about that before? Operator. So what Operator does for you is simple, right? You can tell Operator that, oh, can you help me order an Uber or you want to order food? So the way Operator works is simple. You give it a prompt of what you want to do, right? Then it visualizes everything for you from the beginning to the end using let me put it in this way, like using a more virtual Chrome, right? A virtualized Chrome. You get to see each step, how the LLM navigates from the website to the end. And when it gets to some step where LLM cannot probably like execute a particular step, right? It tells you to like, okay, can you come in and do this so thing? For example, like let's say it requires some sort of like an authentication. You know, LLM doesn't have access to your username or anything about your credential. You can come in, log in, and tell the LLM to like continue the process. That's simply what Operator does. And then we have Devin. Devin is from Cognition. So Cognition is just an AI company that focuses on automating developer workflow through Devin. So with Devin, you can tell Devin that, oh, I want to build an Uber clone, or you want to build Supabase clone, or you want to build a Google clone, right? So it starts from aggregating the step that is going to take to like achieve that particular step, then follow up with what the execution by generating the code from the necessary to the end. Then we have other generative AI like Visceral, Lovable. How many of us have used Lovable before? I think we have less number of dev here. But Lovable, Boats, Visceral, and some other generative AI allows you to build a full stack application without knowledge of what? Of coding. You don't necessarily have to know how to code to use some of these particular tools. So that's basically what I have to discuss with you today. But I have one little technical aspect of it. But given the time we have, I will just show you what's it called? The diagram flow. How I try to like achieve that. So currently I'm a 500 level student, which means like I'm writing projects, right? And there's this step in your project where you get to like review what literature. So depend on the kind of project you are doing, right? And one thing about me is that I'm kind of lazy. So I think of way I can automate my literature review using what agents. So I have this particular workflow diagram. So this is how I intend to like build an agent that can help me execute from giving the step is simple, right? I will give the agent my topic, then go to any platform like ResearchGate, uh, Google Scholar, and get some files, which like they are document that kind of like relates to the topic I'm working on, right? So I'll just give the user input here serve as the files and the topic. Then we have Supabase storage, right? Because when you are talking about agents, don't forget we are talking about being able to like aware of what you are doing, which is simple as context aware, right? And in most of the in most of generative AI today, we have what they call MCP, Model Context Protocol. So this was introduced by Cloud because the problem we have with agent is what or LLM generally is memory. Them able to like remember what to give them before and giving them more access. Because, for example, now you are building a full stack application, the LLM doesn't know how your database look like, doesn't know how your Figma design looks like, right? But we want them to give us exactly what we have in Figma. We want them to be able to like store data into our database without having additional information. I mean, them able to like just input exactly what we have, like what we have in our schema. So Cloud introduced something called MCP. So the work of MCP is simple, right? You just connect it to your generative AI, then it gives access to your database because you have to provide your credential. So from there, the LLM gets to know how your schema look like. And don't forget, of recent, Supabase also introduced their own official MCP um, protocol where you get to like just tell LLM that, oh, this is what I'm trying to achieve with Supabase, and this is my Supabase credential. Do this, then you just sit and watch it do the magic. So based on my flow here, the LLM gets access to my files and topic. Then the agent, the first step is storing the files into what? Supabase storage, right? Then each of the step has something we call the try, right? Because you can have during the process you can have like network issue. So with that, the agent can be able to like retry each step in case it fails. And thank God for Supabase. Supabase makes use of something we call the TUS for the storage. TUS is simple as the upload, I think the upload server. It's just a simple protocol that allow you to like upload something. So while you are uploading, you can just rest. Anytime there's a network issue, it automatically pause, then start again. It can remember the because the way it uploads is it uploads in chunk, meaning that if it has uploaded like 1 kilobyte out of 2 kilobytes, anytime it resume back, it's just upload the remaining 1 kilobyte instead of start to file again. So that's the first step. The next step is that after uploading all the files to Supabase, then the files get transferred to the LLM models like OpenAI, Gemini, Cloud. So here, what I'm trying to achieve there is just simple as I want LLM to be aware of the files that I'm trying to like extract content from. Then the topic also, because I'm not just giving the LLM, which is like my files and topic. I want it to be aware and get through, like, route every single content that we have there in such a way that if I ask any follow-up question should be able to like tells me that, oh, this file you upload has something to do with the topic you give me. So also don't forget that one also has a retry protocol that if at any point in time, if any of the five fails, it will retry. Then we move to the next step. So the next step is LLM go through, review the content, give me the citation, the reference, the project content, any related to my topic, right? Then it tells me whether the what's it called, the document is highly recommended for the topic I'm working on. From the citation, you can know that whether the document, the literature is good for your topic or not. So, but instead of me doing those project or something, or maybe a Flutter or anything UI, right? So, making use of the Supabase as the output are being stored into the database, it automatically also goes into the UI so that I can get to like visualize what the output looks like. So that's just simple about how most of the agents work. They start from the inputs, pass it to the next agent, which what uh, generate content, store something, and so on and so forth to the end. Um, Thank you. If you have any question, okay. Sorry. So MCP generally, as I said, MCP was introduced by cloud, right? Because the problem we have with most of generative AI is that they are not more context aware of what you want to build or what you are trying to integrate together. You mean, you are trying to build a full stack application and you have Figma design, you have database, you have edge function because Supabase also offer you like edge function where you can just execute a code in the edge network. So the problem now is that you have MCP. Each company can develop their own package that can interact with the MCP built by cloud, right? So Supabase also gives you the same thing. So all you have to do is just you can go to I think npm.com, use I think most of them have the similar tag like MCP. When you search for them, you get to see almost all the companies that have produced a documentation of how you can use MCP with their products. You get. So once you install, I think in VS Code, yesterday or thereabout, Copilot also introduced their own how you can integrate MCP into Copilot and get something done. So using it with the likes of like Cursor, they provide you an interface where you can just input the name of the package that the company provide you, right? When you input it, uh, the agent injects those things and fetch all the necessary information from the most of what they do most of the time are like get to read the documentation that they provide you. Those companies provide you on how to use a database, how to use the auth, how to use edge function, how to use like real-time database and all. So I think that answers your question. Yeah, thanks. Okay. Okay, how is edge designer, right? So the problem we have had over time is that as a designer, don't let me use like in those days because if I'm using like in those days, I'm still talking like last year, upper last year, right? As a designer, the problem is that for you to, when you build something, you have to transfer your design to what, to developer to like implement, right? That's how it works now. You have to transfer it to, if you are working in a company, you have a department, you transfer your design to the engineering department where they get to like build whatever you design. Now, the issue now is that that is no longer how it is now, right? Because with the tools like Visceral, Lovable Boats, you can just input your Figma link, right? Or you can also use MCP, put your Figma link, the agent ingests the design from Figma directly, then get started, do the design for you. And also, I think of recent, I've seen some flow on, there are some new products coming up for designer basically, where they get to like use AI directly. I mean, they get to use all those agents directly without having to having anything to do with um, developer or something. And in this itself, most of designer now are more of like a full stack engineer now. Trust me, some designer are very very good with the way they use agent now. In the sense that they are now working more as like more of like a contractor. They get the job and they do both design and give it to the agent. The agent cook up the design, and that was all. And I believe maybe in the near future, I believe Figma and some other design products, they are also working towards on, because the way we have things currently now, right? The way we have it now is going to be more progressive. Because don't forget, I mentioned AGI. Once AGI catch up, right? All of us are just more, should I say useless? Because you just sit down, you tell the AGI what you want to do, and it gets it done. And the problem now is that once we able to like achieve that, who will now give you the job to do? I mean, as a contractor, I can just do the job myself. But before then, you can just make use of most of the tools that we have currently, right? As a designer, get things done yourself. You don't necessarily need external person like a developer to like design a whole application, right? But don't forget, the person that coins the word vibe coding, he mentioned something that there are limitations to every single thing. You have to be very, very extra careful, because when you are talking about the security part of it, it's kind of like dangerous. Over the weeks, we have seen people exposing like their what they're supposed to keep secret, like authentication credentials and some other things, right? I think the one that happened last week was someone leaked the API keys and all, and people get free access to what they're supposed to pay like $200 for. So as you are pipe coding, don't forget take the security very seriously. Thank you. Okay.
Time has gone. And that person came late, so let's use it as punishment for him. Yeah, yeah, you can meet at the back. I'll bring you up. Don't worry.
Okay.
So, both of you can meet and then discuss more about that. We are sorry, but we are giving time and we don't want them to come and pursue us out of this place. Okay, so sorry about that. So, moving on, we want to have a game. And yeah, I believe the game is going to be on what we've discussed so far. I think from the beginning of the session, those guys that came late, those are the people that I don't want them to win. If they win, they are not getting anything. Okay, so let's participate and then let's surprise those guys that came late should surprise me. If they surprise me, I will double their gifts. All right, so we'll be having Tawid joining us. Oh my god. We'll be having Tawid joining us for the game. Uh, we're trying to bring him off at the moment. So, try checking online people. Yeah, we are checking you. We are reviewing you. So just drop anything you want. They will share their screen. You'll be able to see to join the game as well. So don't worry, we are together. Um, we're waiting for him to join us. Into this. Okay. Yeah. This. Okay. I'll move this one around. Take that one to the other side. 1 second. Oh, for me, yes, they want what is this? Okay, that's what it is. What it's yes.
Tell me.
Don't worry. Yes. That's where the USB that will plug in. Okay, that yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Then you can share your screen. And then just sharing it out, you can go with it. Okay.
Oh, 1 second. Okay. All right. All these things. This camera is bad.
Don't worry.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Tawhid Abdrahim. I am a professional level computer science as well. And today we'll be going through. If you've been listening since morning, we've had a number of presenters, and they discuss key things that related to Supabase itself. So now we're having a few interactive session, which is a game. Students ask questions and answers, and you are rewarded with regards accuracy and efficiency. That means you have to be quick and also to get the answers correct. So now all you need to do is just go to kahoot.it, and then you can input the game pin there. So let me know when you are ready. Kahoot.it. Okay, kahoot.it. One person has joined. Which network? My phone network. Okay. Hmm. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Are we good?
If he calls back, no, disrupt them.
Okay, can we start now? No? Okay.
Okay.
So we are 16 already. I must win. If you know win. I must win. No win. So are we ready? Can we start now? Please check on YouTube. Have they all joined as well? Okay, so I'll be starting the Kahoot game now. So please, one of the instruction is don't say the answers out, please. So let's make it as interactive as possible. And for the final tip, this is Supabase launch week. You understand what launch is? Not launch for food though. So I'm just saying, in case you need it later. Now, let's go ahead. So we'll be starting now. Supabase is often described as Supabase is often described as what? To Firebase. So that's the correct answer. Now, moving on. So who is leading? We have GPT 5.0. Nice. Leading. So question number 2 now. Which database technology does Supabase use at its core? Database technology. Exactly. PostgreSQL. Now, let's see. Okay. Coach Smart left. Moving on. Which Supabase feature is used for managing user signups and permissions? The questions are quite simple. If you've been listening so far, you would definitely get them. So Supabase Auth, because it's basically authentication for login and permissions as well. Now let's see what the oh, interesting. Interesting. I must win. Thank you. So this is a true and false question. Very, very short time. So be ready. So the answer is what? Supabase is not a closed source. It's an open source platform. Now, next, okay, still the same. Question number 5. What does BAAS stand for? billing as a service, backend, backup, build. So it is what backend as a service. Now, okay, the next question. Let's see. Let's check. Ayatollah is still leading. Okay. Now, question number 6. False. It handles all that. You don't need to manually set up and manage the database itself. Hey, moving on. I'm looking at the answers. I'm looking at it. So it is Supabase real time. Abraham mentioned it when he was speaking. Now, next, let's see what the GPT-5. Are you using which Supabase? Ah, okay, okay. All right. So now, this okay. The answer to this is Supabase storage. The next question. I guess everyone is getting it right because nobody is shouting, "Hey, ah!" So, one of the following is not an agentic workflow. This was shared when Mujib was speaking. So, which of these is not an agentic workflow? Yeah? No one got it. Is it my network? Rashid, is it my network? Eh? Before I continue, I should continue. Okay. So, I think that stays the same. Or did it change? I don't know. So, question number 10 now. The Swabbies has its own model context protocol, MCP. True. Mujib mentioned it while he was speaking as well. And now the last question, it seems GPT is actually leading, but anything can still happen. So, okay, question number 11. So if you get the first question that is leading to this, I think you should be able to get this one right as well. So it is a backend as a service platform, so it's not just for building front end interface. So now the last question here. What is the name of this event? You can see it on so the correct answer is LAUNCH, not launch. This was a mistake now. I told you initially. I said it. So I think that will be the end of. So let us see what the leaderboard looks like. The third position, we have who? Ayatollah. Who's Ayatollah? Yeah, now. The second, I must win. And then the first position goes to 5.0. Who is GPT 5.0? Who is GPT 5.0? Would you? No. No. Yeah, now. Let's see. Where is this thing? How do we check the fourth position? Uh, Mujib. Let me see who the. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find the.
Don't close that page. Yeah, you'll be able to hear me, but it may not be as good as you've been hearing it before. Can just remove this guy. Okay, so let me set it up again. 1 second. Okay, so sorry, we need to carry folks online along. So where's my sound? Yeah, I think the audio is back now. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing it up. Okay, so moving on. Um, what really happened was the fact that nobody actually. Why did you stop sharing? From the people that joined online, uh, we already had our winners. So and then the winners will be getting their gifts. So what where we are now is for us to talk about what we've learned so far online. Before we leave here, they are bringing our food, and it will be here very soon. So we should stay behind or stay back to get our food. Okay, so let's go online, post anything, maybe look at the person beside you, take a selfie, take a picture of the screen, post it online. If you are posting on Twitter, you can tag me. Let me share my screen so that you can see my username again. So, oh my God. Okay, it's coming up now. So if you are posting on Twitter, you can tag me. That's my username. And then we can continue our conversation from there. So while we are doing that, yeah, we're actually here doing wrapping up everything. Okay. So are we going again? Or is that all? You have it? Yes. Okay, that's good. All right, so we're waiting for our food to come. Thank you. Yeah, don't worry. So for the while we are waiting for the food, let's come to the stage to take our group photograph. And please let's come to the podium. Let's take a picture, group picture, while we are waiting for our food to arrive.
Yeah?
Yes, one more thing, Sha. Don't worry. What we want to do is one, two, let's come to the stage. People online, join us on the stage.
Okay. Some people will stay down. The tall ones can come up. The not tall ones.
The taller ones. Let's climb.
The girls. The girls. The ladies. Yeah, so they show you. They show very well. The beautiful ladies. Put them in the middle. Put them. Yeah, front and yeah.
Are we good? People online, thank you for joining. And then this is the end. Sorry, what we are doing now is may not be able to involve you. Thank you for participating and see you next time. Bye.